What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Classic Chronicles. And as promised yesterday, today I'm going to be talking about the life of the immortal Hulk Hogan, who passed away on this last Thursday at the age of 71. Man, let me make this really clear right off the bat. I'm not here to talk about Hulk Hogan's controversial life outside the ring or his political affiliation, none of that. I'm only here to talk about Hulk Hogan, the performer, and through my eyes and experiences with Hulk Hogan. Nothing else. If you wanna talk about if you wanna know about his political affiliation and all the controversial stuff that he did outside of the ring, you guys can look that up on your own time. But let me just first start off by saying my first introduction to Hulk Hogan was WrestleMania 3. I know WrestleMania 3 happened in 1987, so about a month after I was born in 1987. No, actually 2 weeks after I was born in 1987, WrestleMania 3 happened, and but I remember watching it maybe in like 1990. That's probably one of my first, the first match that I ever saw, as far as wrestling, because my dad and my brother used to watch it, and my oldest brother Carl used to watch it, I should say, and then I got into it, and then later on my second eldest brother Gus got into it. But I remember watching, and my dad was talking to me about Hulk Hogan and what a good wrestler he was, and all this, and like, what do you call it? To me, seeing Hulk Hogan on TV was looking like looking at a real life superhero. Man, it's like no matter how much he got hurt, he would always find a way to bounce back. And of course, the hulking up, and the three big punches and then the leg drop. Man, just a sight to behold, man. And all the and of course he taught us little Hulkamaniacs to eat your vitamins, train, and say your prayers and stuff like that. And a lot of us live by that. If you grew up in if you grew up in the late '80s, um, '90s, and even some of the 2000s, you know who Hulk Hogan is, man, because not only did he transcend, not only did he kind of define professional wrestling and put the modern product as we know it today on the map, but also with film and television, you know from suburban, not suburban commando, that was Undertaker. What do you call it? From Mr. Nanny to Three Ninjas, High Noon at Mega Mountain, to Thunder Lips and Rocky 3, man. Hulk Hogan pretty much, has conquered every form of media that he's stepped foot in. And like I said, man, professional wrestling or sports entertainment, you cannot talk about the term sports entertainment without talking about Hulk Hogan, because he blended not only wrestling, but he also like played a pivotal role in the rock and wrestling era of the mid '80s. MTV was getting established, and all those rock and wrestling specials, and the Saturday morning cartoon stuff, man. So Hulk Hogan pretty much did it all, man. And you know, like, getting back to my first memory of Hulk Hogan, I remember watching the main event between he and Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3 from the Pontiac Silverdome in Detroit, Michigan, man. And that was the match that that the slam around the world was heard. But what you meant, but for all you either for all you non wrestling fans out there, or you, or some of you who may not know this, that is not the first time that Hulk Hogan slammed Andre the Giant. On a national stage, yeah, but not in a professional wrestling ring, because the actual first time that Hulk Hogan slammed Andre the Giant was at an event called Showdown at Shea, and that was in 1980. They had a singles match at the old Shea Stadium, which was the home of the Mets, and what do you call it? That particular iteration of Showdown at Shea was headlined by a match. Bruno Sammartino versus Larry Zbyszko instead of a steel cage. But yeah, that was on that same card. Hulk Hogan faced Andre the Giant, and even though Hulk Hogan slammed him, Andre the Giant went on to defeat Hulk Hogan, because I believe Andre was a good guy back then. But in the WrestleMania 3 main event, the roles were reversed. Andre, of course, was the bad guy, and Hulk Hogan, the All-American hero. Yeah. So, and then fast forward a little bit. Fast forward a little bit to the early '90s, where Hulk Hogan's star was kind of fading, and then you had the legendary WrestleMania 6 match, title versus title. He was the World Wrestling Federation champion at the time, and then you had him going up against the Intercontinental champion, the Ultimate Warrior, and that match, in a lot of respects, was a passing of the guard. Hulk Hogan was kind of getting burned out, and needed time off, and they wanted to test out the Ultimate Warrior and see how he would do trying to fill the shoes of Hulk Hogan. But that run didn't last too long either. And then Hulk Hogan would come back in 1993, and then kind of took the World Wrestling Federation title off of Yokozuna after Bret Hart had after Yokozuna had defeated Bret Hart in the main event of WrestleMania 9. Hulk Hogan kind of took the WWF title off of Yokozuna, and then Yokozuna would later win it back at that year's King of the Ring, which 3 months later. And then after that, you never saw you didn't see Hulk Hogan for in WWE anyway, for at least almost 9 years. He went to WCW. Of course, his legendary battles with Vader and Ric Flair and Sting, and the formation of the NWO, which if you grew up in which if you were watching wrestling in 1997, man, the NWO was probably the coolest thing on television, man. Who didn't want to be the NWO, man? Just doing whatever you want, running roughshod. Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash, and Scott Hall, who had also defected from the WWF, and and then later on, he was Hulk Hogan was a founding member of another NWO subset, the NWO Wolfpack, and then after WCW folded in 2001. Well, actually, let me back up a little bit. Hogan had left the company about a year earlier at the infamous Bash at the Beach 2000 pay-per-view, when he basically laid down in the middle of the ring and gave Jeff Jarrett the WCW title, and there was a whole controversy there. I believe there is an episode of Dark Side of the Ring about Bash at the Beach 2000. So go online if you want to learn more about that situation. But Hulk Hogan ended up coming coming back to WWE, um, and reforming the NWO with Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, in 2002. Um, and then as soon as that, like that, his stint in the NWO didn't last very long because he in a match with The Rock at WrestleMania 18 in that same year, he got cheered even though he was a bad guy. Like Canada's a really weird place for professional wrestling because they'll cheer the bad guys to the point where you think the bad guys are the good guys. It's like always opposite over there, and that's why whenever a wrestling event emanates in Canada, I always look forward to watching it because I'm like, man, the bad guys are really gonna get cheered tonight, and it's gonna be electric, and that's usually what ends up happening. And then the bad guys get cheered really good over there, and their home countrymen and women get cheered loudly over there as they should. But yeah. So back to Hulk Hogan. He you know he had a match with The Rock in at WrestleMania 18 in 2002, and The Rock ended up beating him that night. But Hulk Hogan got a standing ovation not only then but the night after in Montreal, Canada, when he basically became a good guy again, and came out in the NWO black and white, but I ended up becoming a good guy, and you know going up against his former NWO teammates Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, teaming with The Rock that night. And then shortly after, he would don the red and yellow again, and then during that run he faced The Rock again at No Way Out in 2003. The Rock actually beat Hulk Hogan again, not not without some help from Mr. McMahon, Vince McMahon, and yeah, and then Hulk Hogan would also go on to face Vince McMahon at WrestleMania 19, which is a very very underrated match. If you haven't had the chance to see it, man, it is very underrated. It was one of the things where you thought it wasn't gonna be good because Hulk Hogan. You think Hogan is way past his prime, and then you got Vince McMahon in there, but it was good. It was a hell of a show, and then the late Roddy Piper was involved, and tried to help Vince McMahon defeat Hulk Hogan, but that wasn't to be. And then of course Vince and Hulk Hogan did a program where Hulk Hogan became Mr. America. Basically Hulk Hogan in a red, white, and blue mask, a la the Patriots. If you guys remember that, let me know in the comments. Any WWE fans or Mid-South fans remember the Patriot Del Wilkes. But yeah, and then Hogan would take a hiatus for a while. Actually, no, even before he took a hiatus, he would go on to win the WWE Undisputed Championship one more time, and then win the Tag Team Championships with Edge. That I'm telling you, like Hulk Hogan had a heck of a run on his comeback, and then later on he would make some sporadic appearances for WWE. He faced Randy Orton at SummerSlam 2005, and then he would do like a Legends thing, appear on Old School Raws and stuff like that. But his last appearance in WWE, which was last year, and it was which actually not even last year. This past year, it was the first Raw on Netflix in Los Angeles, California, and he just got booed out of the building, due to his past controversies, which I said I'm not going to address here. But man, Yeah, and then it was like a couple of weeks, like maybe a month or two ago, it was reported that he was dealing with health issues and that he was on his deathbed, but he ended up Hulk Hogan ended up bouncing back, and then this past Thursday, died from cardiac arrest. Man, and what a legendary career, what a life that Hulk Hogan lived, man. Like I said, man, I am in no way condoning what he did outside the ring, but inside the ring, man, Hulk Hogan was like was the man to myself and so many other people, and for that he will be sorely missed. Man, I'm not ashamed to admit that I was a Hulkamaniac, just like so many others who watched wrestling during that era. But man, Hulk Hogan, he will be truly missed, and and you can get on me for that about calling him a legend and stuff like that. But like I said, I don't care about these controversies. That doesn't phase me. Like I'm not here to talk about that. Anyway, but that is gonna do it for this episode of the Classic Chronicles. Like, subscribe, share. Don't forget to hit that notification button so you don't miss a video. And of course, we'll see you guys on the next one.